So starting out,
One of the engines.
this is a presentation on a couple of collections that I had the opportunity to visit in northern Minnesota. The reason for this, ACBS, which maybe I will explain to a lot of people here what ACBS is. ACBS is the Antique and Classic Boat Society, as it says up there. It was founded in 1975 on the shores of Lake George, New York. The Antique and Classic Boat Society has grown into the largest membership organization in the world dedicated to the enjoyment of classic boats. All styles of classic boats, whether they are wood, fiberglass, or metal, powered or non-powered, are welcome. With more than 6,500 memberships, ACBS is the organization classic boat enthusiasts count on for resources essential to their passion for classic boats. Each year, maybe I should turn this down. Each year, the ACBS chapters organize more than 100 antique boat shows, workshops, cruises, and social events throughout North America. There is truly something for everyone. Lori and I were incredibly fortunate to attend the ACBS National Convention in picturesque northern Minnesota this year. A highlight of that event was touring the extraordinary private collections of Lee Anderson and John Long. These collections are simply breathtaking, and I'm looking forward to sharing our experience with you. From sleek classic cars to vintage boats and a myriad of other fascinating memorabilia, these collections offer a captivating journey through time. I was mesmerized by the beauty and rich history of each piece, all housed within stunning buildings that added to the overall experience. So the event was called Woods and Water 2 in Gull Lake, Minnesota. So let's see if I hit the right button here. Okay, here we go. So it's a Lee and Penny Anderson collection. They are actually on Nisswa Lake, which is part of the chain of lakes in northern Minnesota. Where we are, maybe, oh, hit the right button, there we go. So we're up here, which is about 100 miles north of Minneapolis. Not much of a drive, just a short drive up there. In that area, this is Gull Lake, which is a very large lake, I think. Yeah. But it's part of what's called a chain of lakes. So you can see up here a bunch of smaller lakes. And that's a big thing in Minnesota, is to have a chain of lakes linked together. So you can see all these lakes look like they're independent, but for the most part, they are connected by some waterway, some canal or something that connects them all together. The Lee Anderson collection is actually here in Nisswa Lake. Let's see here. And Lee Anderson has two major, change something here. Do it this way. He started about 20 years ago building his home, which is a 20,000 square foot home, just a little place. And then next door to this, apparently there was an old boat repair place of some kind or other, because this is the Nisswa is right up in this area. And so he decided to build a place for his boats. He got interested in boats. He decided to build a place for the boats. So he's built this building first. And this building is about 20,000 square foot also. And he later added this section of it, which is another 20. And then finally added this section back here, which is like 40,000 square feet. In addition, he has 12 boats that are on the water most of the summer, and they're just right here in these covered slips, and you can take them out at any time. What he wanted to be able to do was to use any of these boats pretty much at any time. So the boathouses have runways that go right out into the water. Another view of the overall property. Oh, I did this in different order. Okay, let me tell you a little bit about Lee. Lee Anderson Sr. is a renowned American businessman and philanthropist, known for his significant contributions to the construction industry and his generous spirit. Anderson has left and is still leaving an enduring legacy. Born in 1939 in Minneapolis, Minnesota, Anderson attended the United States Military Academy at West Point, where he excelled in both academics and athletics. After serving his country in the U.S. Army, he returned home to join his family's plumbing business. His family's plumbing business at that time was like 10 people. It was very small. With Lee's entrepreneurial drive and strategic vision, Anderson transformed the family business into the API Group, a thriving holding company encompassing numerous construction and fire protection firms. His dedication and innovative approach propelled the company to remarkable growth and success. Beyond business, Anderson is a passionate philanthropist. He has generously supported various causes, including children's health, higher education, and welfare of American military veterans especially. His commitment to give back has earned him well-deserved recognition, such as Minnesota's Outstanding Individual Philanthropist Award and the Horatio Alger Award. A lover of classic boats and cars, Anderson has particular fondness for the opulent Adirondack boathouses of the Gilded Age. In 2002, he fulfilled his dream by converting an old marina on Minnesota's Nisswa Lake into a stunning boathouse fit for a tycoon. This 25,000 square foot masterpiece features an intricate twig work windows, towering cedar columns, a rustic pub, an octagonal great room, and the boathouse's piece de resistance is an automated cable track system that glides boats directly into the lake through French doors. So this is the lake side of the first of the two boathouses. And you can see the tracks. So the doors are here. He climbs in the boat, hits a garage door opener, and a second garage door opener, and the boat's back out on these tracks right in the water. He starts them up, takes them for a drive, comes back in a half hour, puts them back on the rack, puts them back in the boathouse, and walks away passively. Very nice deal. This is a closer look of the back of the doors. I've got several pictures here of the back side of this. It's a beautiful, beautiful facility. Got a gas pump. Doesn't pump gas, but it looks nice. This is what it looks like from the lake itself. You can see the slips here and the boathouse. More slips. And again, as you move this way, the tracks are longer, but it's still the same thing. You slide right into the water. His actual home is here. You can see it from the water, not very well from the water, but it's here on the water. And the guest house, which is where I would like to live, is a 3,000 square foot little guest house right on the water. And I would take that in a heartbeat. The boat slips. This is what it looks like from inside, looking down the track. You can see the cable running down here, down the middle here. Yeah. And they get nice sunsets. He faces the boathouses face the west, so he gets beautiful sunsets. We were there for a charity event associated with the 2024 ACBS National Meet. And Mr. Anderson, we all paid a certain amount of money to attend the event, but all of that money in the end was used for charitable purposes. none of it went to Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson provided everything. And when you see, I'm going to show you some food pictures in here, and you're not going to believe it. But he provided everything, and including open bar. Yeah, he took a loss on us, I'll tell you. But you can see, like here, there's raw bar and appetizers, sushi, prime rib, and sliders, mashed potato bar, charcuterie, paella, I forgot, desserts. And then several bars scattered throughout the facility. So we arrived by bus from a nearby parking lot and walked down this path to the house. So this is our first introduction to it. On the way you grab a libation, listen to some music, and then you're presented with multiple buildings and entrances. And these are just, to me, just gorgeous. I mean, these are tree trunks and big logs, and it's just truly Adirondack style. And this is what they said earlier about the twigs up in here. These are just twigs through the in front of the windows. If you don't like this building, you know, you just he was celebrating the 100th anniversary of this particular boat called the Baby Bootlegger. And then that's sort of the center of Lee's boat collection. So he had an ice sculpture. This was, I don't have the measurement here, but it was about 6 feet long. It was a big ice sculpture, and it lasted most of the evening. Continuing on past that, down the pathway here, there's some boats set out outside on trailers. One of the boats, this is a little bit out of order in terms of timeline, but one of the significant boats in Gold Cup racing history was band leader Guy Lombardo's Temple of Six from Freeport, New York, a product of the famed Ventnor Boatworks of Ventnor, New Jersey. Temple 6 won the 1946 American Powerboat Association Gold Cup at Detroit, Michigan, and went on to generate a lot of favorable press for the sport of boat racing in the years following World War II. I should mention that you'll hear Gold Cup, and for those of you that are not particularly familiar with the boats, the Gold Cup races started, I believe, around 1904. I have a whole table of boat people over there that can really shut me down with my details. But I believe they started around 1904. And they ran initially, you would have a race someplace, and then whoever won that race, they could take the race to wherever they were for the next race. And so it would kind of move around a bit. It tended to wind up, a lot of the races wound up in the Hudson River and specifically the Detroit River. So there's a lot of racing done in the Detroit River, but they were at different lakes and stuff around the country also. Again, this is his home at the end of this path. Coming back now towards the side of one of the boathouses. Hush. And then we chose, getting the lay of the land, we chose to start with the building across from the boathouses. Everybody, when they came in, got all excited about going in the boathouse, and so we went the other way. And we were really glad we did. So as you go in, the first, and what a way to start, a 1937 Talbot Lago T150C-SS Teardrop Coupe, coachwork by Fioni and Velasci. It sold for $10 million and was best of show at Pebble Beach in 1997. But he didn't have it at that time, but he has it now, and he since has won best in class with that car at Pebble Beach. Yeah, first in class at Pebble Beach in 2023. But you can kind of look in the background here and see all the stuff that he has collected. How about some chairs made out of horns? 1937 Mercedes-Benz 540K Special Roadster was bought at Barrett-Jackson in January 24 for $2.2 million as a charity. It was a charity event in honor of Don Williams. The car came from Don Williams' collection. And by the way, they have food. So this was the raw bar, and it was just beautifully presented and absolutely delicious. I mean, it was presented as eloquently as possible. Crab claws, yellowfin, wonton wrappers, personal crudités, lox of cream cheese, etc., etc. And lots of oysters. 3 different types, actually. Perhaps sea scallops, ceviche. I mean, it was just first class. And these are crab claws that have already been cracked and the end taken off of them. So all you have to do is just bite on the end and you're done. I mean, that costs a couple dollars to do that. Anyhow, we pigged out there and had a good time. These are tempura prawns on the stick. They were absolutely delicious. And this was my wife's plate. She was nicer than I was about pigging out. But just putting that food on the plate was artwork. It was just delicious. Anyhow, moving on. This is a pair of Duesenberg 1929 Duesenberg Model J's. Another Mercedes-Benz 540 Cabriolet C in the background here. One of the things when I took these pictures, I was just taking them for me. I had no intent of doing a presentation, so I was just kind of grabbing pictures. And so I've had to edit these a lot to try to get down to some real cars and stuff. So bear with me. This is the Pebble Beach Doozy. This is the 1932 Duesenberg J. Figoni Sports Torpedo, and it won Best of Show at the 2022 Pebble Beach. Ed will probably correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but it seems weird when discussing the Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance Best of Show winner that one might describe the Shirley Price's automobile as a parts bin special. A vehicle cobbled together using bits from various of the cars. The 2022 Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance Best of Show winner is just such a thing, in a way, as its restoration joined a body by coach builder Joseph Fagani that was sourced from one Duesenberg Model J to the chassis and engine from a second Model J. The twist here, though, is that these components were originally made together in the 1930s when the car was new. Originally, the Model J chassis was shipped to Paris, where it was fitted with a Fagoni sports torpedo body. Then the completed car was run in the 1932 Paris-Nice rally ahead of its delivery to Peruvian sugar magnate Antonio Chupiti or something. We assume the racing preamble to Chupiti's ownership was known and permitted by him at the time. Imagine your brand new coach-built car being run in a pre-delivery race without your knowing. The car eventually was brought to the United States where in the 1960s, for reasons not clear, the body and chassis were separated. Decades later, the current owner, Lee Anderson, acquired the two major components and had them mated once again during a 3-year restoration, resulting in the blue and black show-winning stunner you see here, 1932 Duesenberg J. Fagoni Sports Torpedo. The Duesenberg last won top honors at the Pebble Beach Concours in 2007. So it was quite a car and quite a story behind the car. A couple more pictures of it. And this was Lee and Penny Anderson winning the Best of Show award in 2022. And one more picture. And one more picture. I guess I got a little carried away there. The other things, this is a 1936 Mercedes 540K Sport Cabriolet, and in the background is some of the other things that Lee collects. And this is a Gavoli Verbeck 114 key fair organ, and it works. Everything he has works. And so he didn't fire it up this evening, but I talked to him and he said, yep, everything works. That's the only way he'll have it in the collection. This one is actually can run on these folded paper music sheets. And he has quite a library of them. Likes Duesenberg's 1931 Model J limousine by Willoughby Duesenberg. Also Delahaye, 1935 Delahaye 135 competition drophead coupe. At one point in time it sold for $1.4 million. And this is a Model J Roadster chassis only. Lee is also a big game hunter, and he has won this award, which is, that's right, it's called the Pantheon Award, and it's for taking under fair and ethical circumstances a certain number of game from all over the world. And I couldn't really find a paragraph that would describe the whole thing. I could find a book that would describe it, but not a paragraph. So I won't go into it. Suffice it to say that he is a good game hunter, and he does it in a reasonable manner. And so this is some of the game that he's brought home. Some more cars, 1935 Duesenberg SJ Tom Cabriolet. Let's see. Originally built for Mae West. She opted to purchase another model, leaving this Duesenberg to be purchased by Candy heiress Ethel V. Mars. The $20,000 price tag in that period of time earned the honor of the costliest car in the United States, as reported in the Time magazine on November 16, 1936. It competed in the Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance in 2017, where it garnered a Best in Class award, as well as in the top 5 for Best of Show. Background is a 1936 Duesenberg Rolston convertible coupe. Gar Wood, who you'll hear more of, most people think of him as a boat builder and a racer, but he also did a lot of work with engines. And again, I'm treading thin ice here. My employees back here will correct me on this, but he basically marinized, converted to marine operation, a Liberty V12 aircraft engine. This is a series TXX, the T for twin 6, and the XX is the last 2 digits of the year it was marinized. T26, so that's 1926 this was done. It's a Liberty converted in 1926, the most common year for this engine company. 1,549 cubic inches. It's a big engine. And some critters. Hall Scott, in 1919, Hall Scott LM6 marine engine, 825 cubic inches, 6 cylinders, 250 horsepower at 1,850 RPM, almost like a diesel engine, but it was a gas engine in that period of time. And Hall Scott, I believe if I'm correct, was built across the bay here, right? Emeryville, thank you. And they are also used in cars and I believe in some aircraft. This is a 1937 V16 Hartman bodied Cadillac, 22 feet long. Coachwork by Willie Hartman of Switzerland. 2018 won Best Class at Pebble Beach. There's some more pictures of it here. That's quite a wild car, actually. 1931 Cadillac 355A convertible, looks almost pale by comparison. This is, in the boat world, a lot of aircraft engines were converted for use in boats. This is a customized V12 for Horsey Dodge. Horsey Dodge was a really big time boat racer back in the early teens and 20s. It started out as a stock Packard sweepstake engine, 1,242 inches as a marine engine. This engine was for a particular race boat, but was never installed. The other engine that looked like this one is the Miller Dodge V16, etc. Stuff. This is the centerpiece, and I didn't really get good pictures of it, but this is Baby Bootlegger. And Baby Bootlegger is an American wood-built speedboat. It was designed by George Crouch for Cal Bragg in early 1924. It was built by Henry Nevins. Nevins is quite a famous builder. Bragg won the American Powerboat Association Gold Cup in this boat in both 1924 and 1925. It was fitted with a 220 horsepower converted Spano Susan aircraft engine dating from World War I. The cockpit area is just efficient for one person. Baby Bootlegger is one of the few vintage Gold Cup racers to still exist. Sold for more than $1 million in 2001. Baby Bootlegger is an American wood-built speedboat. I already said that. Okay, that's good enough for that. But it's beautiful. You notice that it's all wood, first of all, but it's also the decks are rounded here as opposed to having a sharp line. Don't know what the purpose of that was, but here it is at speed. And hard to believe these things are flying along. And flying along at that time was like maybe 60 or 70 miles an hour. Any thoughts back there?
It's 60.
60, okay.
62.
62. Well, I hear 63. But the interesting part is that this boat, well, I'll just read this. There are some boats that still exist that hold the legend of the Gold Cup racing within their hulls. Still full to the brim with the glory that became legendary in the Roaring '20s. Her destiny has carried her from the Henry B. Nevins shipyard through 4 Gold Cup races, winning 2 consecutively. Years later, she caught fire at the start of a race and was thought lost for good. The wind shifted, blowing her back to shore where she was saved. However, she was thrown away, brought to a scrapyard to be broken up, then saved by the scrappy because he thought that it wouldn't be right. She sat in the back of a scrapyard in Montreal under her makeshift lean-to for 25 years, waiting for Mark Mason to finally fulfill his tenacious quest to find the Holy Grail. As the scrappy said, "I knew you would come someday, but I didn't think it would take this long." The legendary Baby Bootlegger was destined to be here. So this is how it was found and restored from that. So it actually wasn't in terrible shape when you found it, but it obviously completely ruined. These are some engines. He's got lots of engines just kind of scattered around. This is a Stirling petrol engine, 779 cubic inches. Started out life as 175 horsepower, and over 15 years it increased to 250 horsepower. I wish I'd get better as I got older. Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost. More critters. And just a kind of general view with more critters. Lots of seating areas. This collection is private, by the way. It's not open to the public. And from what I understand, it is available to be used as a meeting place, or a bunch of people can arrange to use this facility. We got some food again. Let's see. This is an 1898 Van Beck 6-cylinder engine, approximately 60 horsepower. Let's see what was interesting. It's a smaller engine, and from 1898. This is the Packard IM 621 Gold Cup engine, 6-cylinder, 621 cubic inches, 375 horsepower at 3,000 RPM. That's quite a powerful engine at the time, and it powered many different types of Gold Cup racers. By the way, Gold Cup racing is class racing. That Gold Cup, the actual Gold Cup, as I understand it, is the top end. It's like the Unlimited, the very top of this. But there are other classes below that. But this engine would have gone into the top end of the boat. And here's the Packard from which it might have originated, the 1936 Packard 12 Sport Phaeton. And this is a more modern boat, a 1955 Chris Craft. This is probably an 18-footer Cobra. Some more organs and some more critters. Lots of wall art. And guess what? More food. Dessert bar. My favorite spot. Don't you wish you had that for dessert today? Or that? Or even that? Or even that? Or even that? Anyhow, it was spectacular. This is a 1927 Scripps F6 Marine engine. Used in lots of boats, even lots of the antique class ACVS boats have this type of an engine in them today. And then we go to a 1941 Chrysler Town and Country wagon. This engine I thought was particularly interesting. This is a 1930 Liberty Fan 24, 4 banks of 6 cylinders, totaling 3,300 cubic inches, 850 horsepower at 1,850 RPM. And there is a video of this thing running. He had it restored. And they actually took it apart, didn't actually do any machine work. They just took it apart, cleaned it up, put it back together, and it ran just fine. From 1930. It's set up to 1936 Auburn Speedster. In back is a 1931 Marmon 16 5-passenger closed couple coupe. This guy here. And off to the side is a Liberty engine again with a marine conversion on it. More cars, and he has a wall here of a lot of the boats he's had over the years.
So was this party for you, Gary, and no other people?
You'll see lots of people. Like I said, we went to this building first. Everybody else went to the other buildings. And now we're going to the other buildings, and we will catch up with them. 1933 Chrysler Imperial Dual Cowl Phantom. Last sold for $400,000. And it's a little bear. Lots of small memorabilia also. I mean, everything is just spotless and interesting, well lit. I mean, there's just no negatives you can say about this. 1910 Knox Type O 5-passenger touring car. My wife getting hugged by the bear. This is that Packard 1M 1242 Marine engine, a very popular engine. These all run, by the way. It's kind of on stands and they do run, and they're noisy. It's a Hispano Susan, but I didn't make any notes here. So. He's got models of a lot of his boats. And if you need a fire engine, this thing was just placed on a rotating table and with all the brass and whatnot. It was just stunning. She's trying to steal the fish from the bear. I told her that's not a good idea. Marmon, 16-cylinder, 491 cubic inch, B16, horsepower, 200 and 3,400 RPM. I'm amazed at the variations in horsepower. I mean, a little while ago we had 400 horsepower, and we have 200 horsepower. From that period of time, they're just all over the place. Lancia Australia Cabriolet. Tabalago T26 Record Sport Cabriolet. Yeah, you can see this is him in his boats. These are all pictures of him running around in his boats, I believe. Another Mercedes 540K Special Roadster. 26 Duesenberg SJ convertible sedan. Right here. And the motor that I didn't get the information on. Adelaide 135 Competition Cabriolet. In the back, oh, that's the one we saw earlier. And in the front is a Mercedes-Benz. And there's a big bar here, and across the room from that, I didn't get a picture of it, is a big stage. So it's really set up to be an event center also. So, out of that building, across the way, this is a legendary boat racer. Gar Wood won the 1918 Gold Cup race with Miss Detroit 3, powered by a rare 1916 V12 Curtiss V12 aircraft engine. This is a monster. The workmanship is amazing on some of this stuff. You know? I mean, this is 1912. You know? And this is it running today. I mean, not today, but the current time. How'd you like to sit there and operate that boat? Makes Dan Foster's boat look easy.
Yay. Thank you.
So this is the street side, while the path side of the boathouse. And so the next thing we're going to do is go past the more ice sculpture for the big bootlegger and then into the boathouse. And these buildings are just, I mean, you just had to sit there and look at it for a minute. You know? So this is more of his big game line. What I call a retap. And we get into some boats, which is kind of, this was supposed to be all about. And I didn't take great pictures, but, oh, back to food again, I forgot about the charcuterie. All right, now we're into boats. This is a 1927 Garwood Baby Gar, 33 feet long, Liberty 12 engine, 400 horsepower. 400 horsepower at that time. Amazing to me. 1925 antique hacker craft, triple runabout. A Hall Scott, which we heard about before, 200 horsepower. So we're all over the place in horsepower. The Packard marine engine. Let's see. Packard marine engine powered that boat. Just a kind of view from the corner looking back toward towards the front of the building. Ditchborne launched 36 feet. And this was powered by, even though it's a big boat, powered by the Kermit 8 at 150 horsepower. Baby Skip Along is a somewhat famous Gold Cup race boat, 27 feet, Packard 6, 300 horsepower.
Slow as shit.
And this is the boat operational in current times. Packard Craft Company, Dolphin Deluxe Typhoon, Sterling 6-cylinder, 135 horsepower. These boats are just absolute concord, every one of them. Yes, this is the building. There's some detail. The detail finish on it is just amazing. Well, cockpit, would you like to storm around the lake in that? This is the owner, Lee Anderson. This is the bar that's in between the two boat buildings. And this is Lee Anderson, the owner of the whole thing. Very nice gentleman. For those of us that had a chance to talk to him, he was very easy to talk to and a very nice man. This is kind of a, I'm not sure what the word to describe it, maybe a sitting area. It's an octagonal area in between the two boat buildings. And it's just the wood detail of this room is just incredible. So what do? I show plates. And adjacent to that is kind of a conference room area. But look at the artistry in the stairway railing, and the logs that are used or the tree trunks that are used to support this. And the furniture is just this lovely, heavy stuff. I mean, it's my ideal. I could just fold up there and just be very happy. A little chandelier. This is actually probably the formal entrance to this complex. If you were going to have something more formal going on, you come in through here and then you go right or left once you get through this area. He's also a collector of Indian artifacts from the northern Minnesota area. He's got supposedly one of the very best collections any place in Minnesota. I'm not big on this, but you have to admit what he's got is fantastic. Yes. Another Baby Gar, 33 foot, 26 foot, 12-cylinder, 400 horsepower. This guy back here. See the people? There are people there. They got in the way of my pictures. More of the Indian artifacts. More. And people. I'm sure these are original items that are very hard to come by. Now we're in the second half of this boathouse. And another Baby Gar 24. Liberty 12. This one says 500 horsepower. And this is a Apache. It's a fairly famous gentleman's racer, 29 feet Apache Liberty 12 engine. Liberty 12 engine. I never could get a picture without a bunch of people in front of it. it's probably a little noisy. I actually have a video of that thing running in modern times, and it is noisy. But again, the detail work is just amazing. This is another Gold Cup race boat. That's a Purdy 29-foot G14 with a Wright 8-cylinder, 300 horsepower. And this is what it looks like when it's buzzing along. Still looking at the same boat. This is a historic Minette launch, 36 feet long. Had the General Motors 8-cylinder, 290 horsepower. I don't know what that would have been from at the time, but that's what I was told. That's what his sign says. I'll believe him. But the interesting part is the inside of this. Just pull up your chair and go for a little boat ride. That'd be a nice cruise around the lake in the afternoon without a lot of wind and a few drinks. This is probably my favorite boat, just from aesthetically. Is that yours, Dave? Yeah.
It's the twin teaser that was done by Edsel Ford in 1932.
Say again?
It's the twin teaser, which you're gonna see
Okay.
pictures of. And it was commissioned by Edsel Ford, the copy, in 1932 or 34, if I remember right.
Okay. So this is,
Teaser raced the train in 1925
Right.
from New York to Albany and beat the train.
yeah.
Wow.
And Lock Pat was the other.
But this, I mean, the pictures don't do it justice, and especially my pictures, but it's just gorgeous. I mean, everything about it is, everything, the chine is rounded. It's just, the interior is beautiful. They call the Antique and Classic Boat Society calls it mahogany and chrome, and you can see that's really true. Everything's mahogany and chrome, and the two go together in my mind very well. Mahogany and chrome. I mean, that's pretty, and all the screws holding it down, all finished over and whatnot. Now, somebody went a little crazy on the restoration. You notice that every single one of the screw holes is lined up. I don't think they built it that way, but maybe they did. But the special made pieces here are just amazing.
Did you do that on your wall plates?
I do. Every single one home.
And it do shine.
This way or this way?
They are.
So I got this one out of order in my notes, but that's all right. We'll just go ahead. So this is the inside of an older boat, and the next slide, not a very good one, but the starting process, fuel pump, both, steering wheel anyhow, it's a whole process for starting this thing. You don't just jump in and turn the key. Also has quite a Western arts collection. And the way these boats are arranged, they all slide out. They all have a cradle that they sit on. And the cradle and the boat are cut to fit the floor. So the boat comes in, and that's how close the boat is to the floor of the room. And it's just, the work that he's gone through to make this happen is just incredible.
I had two boathouses.
Here's another one with a Liberty 12 500 horsepower.
What a nice deal.
And then we're outside, and he had some boats on trailers outside. These are both Gold Cup boats. The background is an antique Hacker Gold Cup race boat, 26 feet, Miss Mary, with a Peerless 200 horsepower. This was that other entrance I mentioned, that was probably the main entrance to the building if you were just coming to visit this area. This is the gentleman, Mark Mason, that is famous for finding a lot of these old boats and restoring them. You guys probably are very familiar with him. I hadn't heard of him before, but he's the one that supposedly restored, found it and then restored it.
Nice guy.
Now, my wife took this, and there's a movie out called Wednesday, and there's a Kellogg's cereal called Wednesday, and what it is, it's cookies and cream, so it's little round balls of black and white, and so she had to find some when we got home. She couldn't find it, so she went online and found them, and paid like $10 a box for this, and bought about 5 boxes, and then discovered she didn't like them. So we've given them all away for Halloween. Before Halloween, it worked out really well. So nighttime, the buildings are very well lit. This is the outside area. This is where a nice bar made out of it. Well, I'm sure it wasn't made out of a boat. It made it look like a boat.
Yeah.
The ice sculpture is starting to melt. Lots of people in our building now. Another 33-foot Hackercraft Hall-Scott 6-cylinder 200 horsepower engine. Ditchborn. You guys remember where Ditchborn is from?
Canadian.
Pardon me?
Canadians.
Canada. Okay. 36 feet, Kermith 8-cylinder 150 horsepower. Very nice. This is Nevins Gold Cup race boat, 27 feet. This is baby skip along with a Packer 6 with 300 horsepower. I'm kind of going backwards to the collection. This is that room again. My wife had given up on me, and she sat there and talked to some of the gals. Look at that, almost no people in there. This is a 1925 Bell Island Super Bearcat, 30 feet long, Hall-Scott 6, 200 horsepower. Details.
That's amazing.
But is that a beautiful building or not? It's just blew me away. One last gas going through. And the end. I've got,